Is making his debut as the national team manager. Spent the previous decade as manager of the Nippon Ham Fighters. That was Shohei Ohtani's team. This is a guy that's been called the Joe Madden of Japanese baseball. That he was the first Japanese manager to use defensive shifts. He was the first guy to use openers. And then most notably, he's the guy that sold Ohtani on the idea of staying in Japan and becoming Japan's first two-way player. That's a strike on Masataka Yoshida, leading off this second for Japan.
I believe he's 5'8", but watching him take BP, he has an electric bat. I mean, some pop off that bat. Of course, property of the Red Sox.
They just signed a 5-year contract this winter, so getting ready for his first season in the majors. A .327 hitter in Japan, but with that power you're talking about, more than 20 home runs a season. Question always, though, can it translate to the big leagues? On a 1-1 pitch from Patrick Sandoval. Swings and misses, and it's 1-2.
Sandoval in the first threw a lot of sliders. Over 50% of them were sliders. 8 out of 15. In all 3 Ks were on the slider. But that right there, a changeup under the hands against the left-hander.
Home with a 1-2 pitch. That's up the middle, and the first base hit of the game for Japan comes from Yoshida. For more on the newest Boston Red Sox, here's Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Joe, when the Red Sox signed Yoshida for 5 years, $90 million, a lot of people around the game viewed it as an overpay. Defense is a question. Some question whether he will hit for power in the majors as well. The Red Sox, though, believe that Yoshida's strike zone judgment and contact skills give him a chance to be a special hitter. Goes to the opposite field well. That's important, of course, at Fenway Park for a left-handed hitter. And manager Alex Cora envisions him hitting in the middle of their order.
We go from one guy who is making the jump to the big leagues to one who big league teams can't wait to have make that jump. Murutaka Murakami, who's won the last 2 MVPs in Japan. And John, he just turned 23 years old.
Let me tell you something. They are progressing over in Japan with a level that it used to be a major jump to go to the big leagues. Not anymore.
No balls and 2 strikes. On Murakami, who has those 2 MVPs, and so it's not a surprise to hear the staff talk about how they've never seen him struggle quite like he has in this WBC. He went 2 for his first 14 before getting a couple of doubles in the quarterfinal against Italy. And an 0-2 from Sandoval. Murakami takes way outside. Hideki Kuriyama, the manager for Team Japan, said he just thinks that he's put a lot of pressure on himself. Murakami has. And hoping that those doubles in the quarter get him going. Yoshida's at first. No score second inning. Sandoval's 1-2. Murakami takes high. We're in the famed number 55. That's a big deal in Japanese baseball. It was won by Hideki Matsui. And for both of these guys, Matsui and Murakami, it's a nod to the great Sadaharu Oh. 55 was the number of his home runs in the 1964 season, which was the record for a Japanese-born player until last year when Murakami hit 56. On this 2-2 pitch, he swings and misses, and Patrick Sandoval has his 4th K.
So he didn't change his jersey number to 56.
Wouldn't that meant something? I respect you, Mr. O, but
move over, sir. Here's that slider. It's tight and late and up in the zone. Maybe he didn't want to get it there, but it worked out effectively, trying to get it down and away. And 4 outs, 4 strikeouts.
Well, the starting staff was really the first thing that people looked at on Team Mexico and said, this could be a formidable group. Offense has been the pleasant surprise. Starting pitching, everybody figured would be good. Here's a chopper to short. Across his body goes Trejo and starts a double play. A fabulous one at that. Patrick Sandoval and Team Mexico off to a roaring start. Patrick Sandoval for Team Mexico, Hiroki Sasaki for Team Japan. Looks like run's going to be hard to come by tonight. Sasaki in front of 64 Major League scouts and executives, putting on a show through a couple of innings with triple-digit heat, couple strikeouts, and ready to face 8-9-1 in the Team Mexico order here. There are some of those scouts getting an up-close look at the young phenom who's in there to strike one to Alec Thomas. Well, Sasaki in the group round struck out 8 over 3 2/3 against Czech Republic, and it was special because it was his WBC debut. It was emotional because of the date that it fell on, March 11th, and it was March 11th, 2011, when Hiroki's life and the life of so many in Japan changed. That was the day of the horrible earthquake and tsunami, and Hiroki was 9 years old at that point. His house was swept away. His grandparents were killed. His father was killed. It's a chopper to first that Okamoto takes to the bag for the first out. And so 12 years later, he gets to live a dream pitching in the WBC on the anniversary of that awful, awful day for so many. And after the game, they asked his manager, Hideki Kuriyama, what he thought of the way he pitched. And Hideki said it's hard to explain, but it was as if he wasn't throwing a baseball, he was throwing his soul. An emotionally fueled, excellent performance in that group game against the Czech Republic, and a defining thing that he went through at the age of 9. Some shouting from the Mexico dugout, not liking the first pitch strike call. And the home plate umpire, Quinn Wolcott. Alec Thomas grounded out. It's Austin Barnes now. So, John, you can understand when you see the scouting report, you see the frame, all impressive. You can understand why he's a prospect. And then you hear that story, and you hear people that know him well talk about his maturity. It all adds up.
Yeah. When we, and you talked about it, when we read it, it was just something, wow, comes to your mind. And I think for him, fulfilling this dream and pitching the level with the talent he's been given and the chance he's been given really in life, that's, he's not going to misuse any opportunity, and he's going to follow it through to the best he can.
Just misses here to Barnes. Count evens 2-2. Austin Barnes on base in half his plate appearances in this World Baseball Classic. Out of the 9 spot for Team Mexico. Waits on this 2-2 from Sasaki. Yeah, and he's worked it full. Barnes, 33 years old. Hard to believe he's about to start his 9th year with the Dodgers. Trying to set the table for the top of the order against Sasaki, and he pulls a ground ball to third for Murakami. A juggle and a throw in time for out number 2.
I've been part of 3 or 4 hype machines. Like, the hype is so big that you think, no way can you live up to it. Ground ball, this replay here. But the biggest one was Steven Strasburg. I'm like, no, I'm not going to get caught up in it. I got to do his debut for MLB Network, and he exceeded it. He struck out 14 Pirates, I think it was, and it was just amazing. Of course, Ohtani. But this young man is special. And when I say I've seen DeGrom's first pitch in the big leagues and done his game, and he's special. He's got the it factor.
He's ahead of Arozarena 0-2.
And he's only throwing 2 pitches right now. So the sky's the limit. And it doesn't look like mechanically a lot could go wrong. Now, is he foolproof from being hurt or injuries? No. But I am blown away by his command and power.
Arozarena pokes it to first, and that's a lightning quick 1-2-3 third. Hiroki Sasaki making jaws drop. All those scouts and executives getting an up close look.
Jesse.